Howdy, folks, and welcome to Cherrypicked, the show where we listen to some free samples off an album and see what might appeal to us, something that we might want to give a TuneScore to. My name is Cary Nightingale, and with me as always is Amazon.com. Today's album, Die for Your Love by Tei Shi. Let's top this Sunday. Okay, first things first, let's have a quick look at what we're actually about to sample from. Die for Your Love has 5 tracks, 3 of which are explicit lyrics. That's fantastic, a 60% ratio. Pretty good for a pop album. Why Tei Shi? Well, I was driving around this morning, and on my playlist, the song Basically came up. One of her earlier songs from, I think, 2016 or 2017. And it's a banger, an unquantified endorsement of mine, if you will. And I was wondering, what's Tei Shi been up to? Now, apparently it's this. This is her 2020 project, this EP. Quick note on the album cover. I sometimes like to comment on this. Kind of looks like she's playing Twister, but the mat is upside down. Not a strong start. But let's see if track 1, Johnny, is a strong start. Really nice danceable rhythm. You've got the acoustic guitar in there. That snare drum is really active. I'm not much of a dancer, so I can't tell you if that's a samba or a tango or what exact kind of rhythm it is, but it does have sort of a Latin feel to it. Let's continue on. Really nice descending notes at the end of her melodic lines. For some reason, it gives it a very cool, casual vibe, which is sort of nice juxtaposed against a slightly more energetic rhythm like this one has, and a really cool cadence. Overall, the lyrics to this song, overall very cool. And there again, she was descending on that melodic line and then came up just to come back down. Really nice effect on the melodic composition. Excellent voice that Tei Shi has, and I think, judging by my unquantified endorsement that I mentioned of her song Basically, I can tell you just from my experience with that song, excellent soaring vocals, and it sounds like she has the ability to do not just her lead vocals, but to harmonize with herself, and maybe even sing in unison with herself. I don't know if that's actually hard to do for normal people, but I can't do it. So that's Johnny, as track number 1 usually is when I do these episodes. It's hot in contention to be cherry-picked because it's the first one. But let's go on to Die for Your Love, track number 2. All right, so the overall sound has changed quite a bit just from track 1 to track 2. Gone, it sounds like, are the acoustic guitars. Instead, we've got this sort of stabby synth chord progression. The tempo is down quite a bit. It's still a good sound. It's just very different. And she just finished that line, this. So she, not the way I did it. But, again, with the descending melodic notes there, the melodic fall at the end of a line. It's not very prominent, but you can kind of hear, and I think it might be slightly to the left, sort of a bouncy synth bass line, which is pretty nice. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Okay, so we should probably talk about that, the title, and then I just heard apocalypse. This is sort of presenting, well, Die for Your Love, obviously, kind of a Romeo and Juliet thing. Love is not usually enough to warrant dying for. We don't usually recommend that at the Sound Appraiser channel, especially not if it's apocalyptic love. But I think it's important to note, even though I have sort of a distaste for that type of lyric, it's still important to use from time to time in songs because it grabs attention. That sort of hyperbole. She might not really die for someone's love, but by saying it, by singing it, especially as sweetly as she does, it grabs attention. So, a little bit of a songwriting tip, if you will. Exaggerate slightly, or a lot, I guess. It would be a great exaggeration if I sang Die for Your Love. Well, let's go ahead and skip ahead to the next one, Disappear. I'm always eager to get into the explicit tracks, and let's see what they've got. Make me feel nothing, I don't want to be here, I don't want to feel nothing. All right, so again, we're sort of slowed down at a similar tempo to Die for Your Love. It's a bit slower, a bit more relaxed, or casual, you might say. And it does have sort of a Latin feel to the rhythm, but again, not being the expert in sambas and tangos and rumbas and all of those things, I can't say exactly for sure, but it feels, in my humble opinion, a little Latin, a little danceable. It's a nice sound. Now let's see what else we've got in Disappear. Then wish that I could disappear. Wish that I could disappear. And it's nice that we've got that acoustic guitar. It's not just strumming. Again, it sounds sort of like a nylon string guitar. It is playing maybe more bossa nova kind of jazz chords there. Let me see if I can pick out any of them. Usually I wouldn't try to numb the pain, but I don't think that I can. Really nice melody. I'm not able to pick out those chords exactly, but it does have that sort of Brazilian or bossa nova sound to it. It's nice. It's not as attention grabbing, I think, as Die for Your Love was. Let's move on to OK Crazy. So again, with the melodic fall at the end of that line, this one, though, we're picking up the pace quite a bit. It's got that synth bass line that is sort of vaguely reminiscent of Physical by Dua Lipa, which is a song that we reviewed in a Throw Me a Line episode a month or so back, but it was a track that we really liked. So I like that bass line. It's reminiscent, it's not a copy, so that's okay. Like I do. And that twinkly synth keys, that line that just passed by, if you're not listening on headphones, it moved from left to right. Really cool effect. The mixer was probably working overtime to get that to happen. Interesting. I can't quite tell. Maybe it's just a little too fast for me, but I can't tell if she's saying okay crazy or fucking crazy. I expected explicit lyrics. Maybe that's why I'm hearing fucking crazy, but the title's okay. I don't know. The whole thing's fucking crazy to me. Let's move on to the next one, which is Goodbye. And probably a great way to end a record is by saying goodbye. Probably a breakup song, though. Yeah, friend of mine. Definitely a breakup song.
Had some good times and some bad times too.
There's something about that bass, the low synth line there, that sounds very flatulent. So it wasn't me. It was the album.
So predictable, making me feel miserable. Thought I'd let you know.
Some interesting stuff going on with the synths, but and a nice cadence there to the lyrics. Otherwise, not too much there for me. So that's been the 5 tracks. We made it through all 5, guys. Great. That's been the 5 tracks off of Tei Shi's Die For Your Love. Now, through the magic of editing, I'm going to take a moment, slip away, cherry pick one of these songs, and give it a TuneScore. And I'll be right back before you even know it. And I'm back. The song from Tei Shi's Die For Your Love that I cherry-picked was, rather predictably, Die For Your Love. I'm a sucker for title tracks, apparently. I rated it at a 7.2 out of 10 on the TuneScore scale. Highlights for me were the melody, the way that it was harmonized, and the rhythm to an extent. But really, it was the production and the performance. Excellent vocal performance. I can't tell if the synths are programmed or if they're actually played, but they sound great. And everything about the mix, from the doubling of the vocals to the way they then funnel down into just a single central vocal line at times for extra emphasis, it all sounds great. The low light for me, if there was one, as I mentioned, was that Die For Your Love sentiment. The exaggeration or the hyperbole of that sort of sentiment being explored in lyrics. It's not my favorite. It's not terribly emotionally appealing to me, but overall it's a very listenable song. So I do recommend that you check it out. I'll put that track on the TuneScored Tracks playlist on the Sound Appraiser YouTube channel. But anyway, I've had a lot of fun today. Glad that I was able to check in on Tei Shi and see what she was up to. That's been Amazon.com. I've been Cary Nightingale. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay sound.